You should have gotten an email from the Real Estate Commission because they are going to be auditing, inspecting, and investigating all broker in charges and firms. So please make note of this video, mark it down, come back, check it out, and read our blog and click on the link below that has the checklist that they're going to be looking for. Hi, I'm Jennifer Nicely with Pinnacle Real Estate Academy, and I want to talk about the commission inspecting your firm. What are they looking for? What does this mean? Now, I can give you a dozen firms that I know in the last 6 months who have had a pop-up inspection. Now, the difference between an inspection and an investigation is someone has filed a complaint against you and they are looking into this complaint, and that triggers an investigation. But an inspection is a random audit to make sure that the firm and the broker in charge is doing what they're supposed to do by law. Now, this checklist that the inspectors have in the past has been 1 page, and it has mostly been about trust fund accounts. And there are a lot of companies out there that aren't really holding trust fund money anymore. They're allowing and asking that the attorneys hold the trust fund money, and they have completely done away with their trust fund accounts. And so that 1 page audit or inspection checklist wasn't really covering all the bases. Now, this checklist is now 10 pages, and it goes through everything. And I'm kind of going to give you an insight of what this inspection looks like. Now, they're going to give you a call. They, as in the Real Estate Commission and the inspectors, are going to give you a courtesy call and a courtesy email that says, hey, you have been randomly pulled to be inspected. Now, your job is to reach back out to them and get an appointment scheduled within 7 days. So you have 7 days to book this appointment. Now, they're really kind and nice and friendly. They're not coming in to try to find something to punish you with. They are coming in to assist and to help you. So please don't panic when you get this phone call. They're also going to give you the checklist that we are giving you a copy of in this video and on our blog so that you can be fully prepared. But when they come and they audit you, or inspect, they use both terms, okay? So when they come and inspect you, they're going to say, all right, pull up your entire roster. And they're going to compare your roster of agents and their roster of your agents. And they're going to go down each name and say, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Believe it or not, there are some brokers in charge that do not know everyone who hangs their license underneath them, and they may have just been transferred in and doesn't even realize it. So they're going to point blank ask you, do you know everyone on your roster? Is anyone missing? Once you pass that barrier, you're going to go on to the next one. They're going to ask you to pull a list of all of your active listings. They're going to randomly pick one of the active listings, and they're going to ask you to show them all of the paperwork. They want to make sure signatures, initials, dates are all there. All of the blanks are filled in, or the blank is voided itself, either with a 0, a dash, or an NA, whatever you are requiring in your office for your agents to do. They're making sure that you have brokerage disclosure forms turned in. Keep in mind that you have to give a brokerage disclosure form at first substantive contact or first practical opportunity. And that doesn't mean that those people always turn into an agency agreement. So you should have a file of brokerage disclosure forms of consumers and customers that never turned into a client. So be mindful of that. Then they're going to ask you to do the same thing with pendings, solds, new construction, land, commercial if you have it, withdrawals, expireds. They're going to go through the whole list. Now, they're not going through every single contract, but they're going to have you pull up the list and they're going to randomly pick one and have you open the files. Now, let's say that you had a contract that fell through and you have a repair request and it is dated by the buyer, but it is not dated or signed by the seller. They're going to ask you questions like, where's the seller's signature? what happened to this transaction? And then your response in this particular example would be, well, we tried to negotiate the repairs and they decided to terminate based on due diligence. And here's the due diligence fee, maybe a copy of it if you have that, or the termination agreement if you have a copy of that, which you should, and all the paperwork that explains that it fell through. They want the storyline, and they want to make sure that the broker in charge knows the storyline. Now, trust funds is a whole different ballgame. There are several different checklists in that 10-page document that talks about trust fund accounts. If you don't have a trust fund or you are not actively using a trust fund, they're going to bypass all of that. So bottom line with these inspections, they are not coming in here looking for a problem. They are coming for these inspections to help educate the broker in charge on the organization, broker office policies, paperwork, documentations, making sure you've kept them for 5 years, all of the agents under your roster. Do you supervise them? How do you supervise them? How do you train them on contracts? This is more of an educational tool. They're not coming to attack. Now, if there is a problem, they're going to help you solve that problem, help you learn from that problem, and if you're caught again doing that said problem, then you're going to be in violation, and then you will have most likely a hearing at the Real Estate Commission. So please don't be scared if you get this notification. A ton of firms are getting them right now. This is a good thing. Here's another thing I will tell you. If your broker in charge changes from one human to another, expect an audit. Expect it, hands down. And again, it's to help this new broker in charge clean up what the old broker in charge did and be able to move forward. It's not to punish you, but that will trigger an inspection and an audit. Keep in mind you have to have files in 2 different locations, not just a physical copy. The office may burn down. Maybe you have it in the cloud. Maybe you have a copy in the office. Maybe you have it in an email database or a server, but you've got to have 2 copies and you've got to keep everything for 5 years. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Please ask us. We're always here at Pinnacle Real Estate Academy to help you.